Hello and welcome to another episode of TAAEF and Industry Celebrities Collaboration, and that stands for Texas Apartment Association Education Foundation. Every time I say that. I am Kimberly Scott, also known as ThatKimberly, and my guest today is Joshua Nichols.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Joshua, for joining me. I appreciate you. So give the listeners a little bit of your background story.
So first of all, I really appreciate you asking me to be here. I've seen your show a few times
Well, thanks.
on social media, so I'm really excited to be a part of it. A little background on myself. I'm born and raised in a small East Texas town.
East Texas town where?
Jacksonville, Texas.
Okay, God's country is what I heard that is.
Very cliche Texan. Grew up
Okay.
on a ranch. I actually have ridden a horse to school before,
Yay.
so that wasn't the norm, but
But it happens.
spent some time in New York and Europe after high school.
Okay.
Took 4 years to kind of try a different path.
Figure out what you wanted to do in life.
Yeah, or see what came to me.
Yeah.
Started working in the restaurant industry, became a corporate trainer for Outback, opened several
Cool.
Outback steakhouses in
Love
my
me
20s.
some Outback.
I still do as well.
Yeah.
Was recruited by AT&T to be a corporate trainer for the original iPhone launch. So I
Whoa.
actually got to play
We-
with iPhones way early.
We could have another podcast just on that whole iPhone debate. I have this theory about iPhones, but anyways, and the Androids. But yeah, that's really cool. That's very cool.
So after AT&T was losing exclusivity,
Yeah.
because when you had to be with AT&T,
Yeah.
that's kind of when my time ended at AT&T,
Okay.
and I received a phone call
Uh-huh.
from a guy I went to high school with. He was like the macho cool senior when I was a freshman. Yeah, he was like the coolest guy in school. And at that point in time, he had gone to work for a like startup fitness equipment company.
Okay.
And he was like, "Hey, I saw that you're, looking for something new. We've got this really small company and there's a lot of opportunity there." And he was a guy that had been in pharmaceuticals for a long time. So
Oh.
I was like, wow, if this cool guy that I went to school with
I
is
wanted to
like,
be in pharmaceuticals because
if-
I thought that was cool
yeah,
too.
if he's leaving pharmaceuticals to go work for this company, it must be like a really good opportunity.
Yeah.
So I told my parents, like, "Hey, I'm gonna leave AT&T and go work for this fitness company." And I had these amazing images and ideas that I was gonna design, Four Seasons gyms and these massive Gold's gyms and big corporate
How old
chains.
were you when all these dreams were coming in? These
So
images?
I was actually 29. This
Okay.
was just a few months before my 30th birthday.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. And so of course my dad was like, "So you're going to leave the largest telecommunications company on the planet and you're going to go sell used fitness equipment?" And I was like, "Absolutely."
Why
And
not?
he's like, "That's probably the worst idea I've ever heard." And I was like, "You're probably right, but I've got this vision
Yeah.
of what I'm going to do and I'm really excited about it."
Yeah. So I'm going to say in your dad's defense, it's not something his generation would do. It's never a bad idea. I feel that if you're not happy where you're at, or your time is coming to an end, that for you to pursue something else.
I totally agree.
So,
I
just my
totally
opinion.
agree. So I went to work for this fitness equipment company. We were super small in cubicles and like our first building with a warehouse. And the company was called Fit Supply, which
Okay.
a lot of people in the industry know. I mean, they're a level 5 sponsor for the TAA.
Okay,
Like
awesome.
they've obviously grown a lot, but they did not do multifamily when I went to work there.
Okay.
And so here I am. My new boss is like, "Hey, you're going to do multifamily."
You're like, what?
And I was like, "What is that?" And he's like, "What's apartments?" And I
Yeah.
was like, it's like a dream was crushed.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I don't want to do apartments. I want
Yeah.
to do these massive like hospitality chains.
Yeah.
And
You
like
had
I
a whole
wanted
other
the glory, like what people like drive down the road and they go, "Wow, look at that place." Like there's
Yeah.
so many people. That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
And
Little did you know you were going to get that
little
in
did
a different way.
know
Yeah.
I fell into all of this.
Yeah.
And so it became a conversation of, okay, well, what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
And his name is Ryan Freeman, and I hope this gets to him.
Shout out, Ryan.
Shout out to Ryan Freeman, who's still one of my closest friends today. He said, and this is a quote, "I have no idea what you're supposed to do."
At least he was honest.
But I'm hoping you can go figure it out, and then we'll just implement that into the company, and then you can help other people do it.
That's awesome.
Which, here it is, just this, it was like 10 years ago. I'm about to be 40.
Okay.
And I no longer work there,
Yeah.
but they're one of the largest distributors of fitness equipment in the country.
Okay.
And their main vertical is multifamily.
Okay. Well, I think he saw something in you. So good for Ryan for seeing something in you that you probably learned from either Outback or AT&T, that he knew you could figure it out and help them, expand into multifamily. Like, a lot of people, and the reason for this podcast is a lot of people don't understand that there are so many opportunities in multifamily and so much room to grow on both the supplier and the management side. So
I was totally blown away.
Yeah. Well,
I was totally blown away that the opportunity that multifamily presents. I've been here 10 years now, and I'm still like, wow, like I did not realize you could even do that. Like that's something I did not know that even existed.
Yeah. Well, good for you.
So I spent 10 years, basically 9.5 years there at Fit Supply. And then about a little over a year ago, moved on to construction.
Okay.
At that point in time, felt like the only industry on the supplier partner side that I felt like I could continue to grow personally.
Well, so thank you for saying supplier partner.
I'm really trying to implement that into my vocabulary a little more.
Thank you.
And I honestly cannot imagine doing anything else.
Okay. Meaning anything else other than being in
multifamily.
Okay.
Yeah. Job security is crazy.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I mean, there might be a lot of people listening that say, well, he's crazy, we would never hire him. But I feel like there's a lot of people out there that if I decided to leave my current company, which I'm very happy at Contractors Inc, I'm not looking for another opportunity. But I would like to think that everything I've done in the past years would at least make someone reach out and say, hey, are you interested?
There'd be a lot of opportunity for you throughout multifamily on the supplier. You never even know on the owner side, but there's so much opportunity either way for people. And if you have the work ethic and you have the reputation and you're a go-getter, which you are, then it definitely translates and word spreads fast because it is a network of industry friends and, they become family that reaches nationally. Like it is a recession-proof industry.
It's acquaintances to friends to family.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
And I was told, hey, you just need to go get involved.
Yeah.
And so actually the first thing I ever attempted was a closed executive meeting.
Oops.
And I was like, someone was like, you just get on the calendar. And if it's on the calendar, then it's an event you can attend. So I was like, okay, well, since I can't do 4 seasons and I've got to do multifamily, I'll just get on the calendar. And so I was actually turned away at the first attempt to be involved.
Well, okay.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Because it gave me the opportunity to say, hey.
You have to work your way up to get on that executive calendar.
Yes, you do.
Just so you folks know.
Just for future references.
Yeah.
But at that point in time, when they told me I couldn't attend, I said, well, I'm new. And I was told to get involved.
Yeah.
And
so help me out with this.
This is proof that I'm making an attempt to get involved.
Yeah, for sure.
And it literally has snowballed from there. I've been super involved in Austin. I try to be involved in other markets as well.
Yeah.
I attend a lot of the Houston events. I attend a lot of the greater Dallas and Tarrant County events. Even got some good friends down there in Waco, the heart of Texas. You know who you are. And I've pulled people into this industry.
Yeah. How did you pull? Okay. So it's a good segue. What do you tell someone, give me a short story of how you pulled someone when someone talks to you about, was it a career change? Was it high school? They're coming out of college that they're coming out of
So this is even we were really good friends when I worked at AT&T. He's one of my very best friends and he'll probably see this.
Well, of course, because we're going to share it all over social media.
That's right. And all over the world.
Yeah. The World Wide Web.
So I was approached by another supplier partner
Mm-hmm.
to go to work for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was extremely happy at Fit Supply at the time. And they told me what they wanted and what they were looking for. And I had a really good friend that owned his own business.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually talked him into joining the association with his own company.
Okay.
He did, but he never got involved.
Yeah, that doesn't really work, but okay.
And he
yeah.
never renewed his membership.
Okay.
And then he had kind of told me that he was looking to sell his company
Mm-hmm.
and go, but he had started a family and was looking to get more structure
yeah.
and
next
so,
chapter of life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when this company approached me and offered me a job, and I told him, I said, I'm not interested, but
I know somebody.
I know the perfect person.
Yeah.
And so he interviewed and actually took the job and was extremely successful with them, and then moved from that company into the construction industry.
Okay.
He's actually now one of my direct competitors.
But you're still friends.
I was a groomsman in his wedding this
Yeah.
past year.
Absolutely.
He and I speak once a week, and we actually laugh a lot.
Yeah.
Just some of our phone conversations, which I can't repeat on the air.
Yeah, of course not. No.
Pretty hilarious.
Save them. We must save that.
But I appreciate everything you've done, Ryan Harmon, and you represent us very well. So
yeah.
Thanks for joining the industry.
Well, and it takes people like you and others. I know lots of people that will say, hey, I know somebody, or step out, when I get approached, like, no, I'm not interested, but I know somebody, let me think about it. We are always, as suppliers, and I think as management, owners, they're always networking with others to find and fill the positions and needs that are not only within their own companies, but within other people's companies, because I've never been or seen such great group of people that are friends, but competitors sometimes as well, and how they can cohabitate and they can be respectful and kind, not without giving away their trade secrets. And we can all come together and, work together for, the greater good of our industry.
It's funny you say that. We, at our product service council meeting this morning, I think my table had 2 supplier partners who are great friends, and the rest of us were all construction guys.
Yeah.
So it's weird, like we're all competitors, but we seem to run in the same crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're respectful of each other to know that when and what not to do, what not to say. But I feel that there are so many apartments across, not just even Texas, but nationwide. We are a recession-proof industry, and they always need product, or they always need help, whether it's construction, fitness, advertising. A lot of people that I grew up with, or college, or that I've met that are not in the multifamily space, they always, well, apartments, what does that mean? And I'm like, well, look at the fixtures, look at the paint, look at every, how did you ever hear of an apartment? Like all those things apartment owners and operators need to be able to, reach, to build them, have them, maintain them, and also to reach the consumer, to the renter, to live in them. I'm a double agent.
And staffing.
And staffing.
Let's not even forget about staffing.
That's a whole, woo, yes, absolutely. Shout out to Laura Lestis.
Yes.
We had her on the other day. So
she's a firecracker.
Yes, she is. So so it definitely, the more we're all talking about it, the better. And that is definitely, one of the huge objectives for, TAAEF, as well as Next Gen, and a lot of, all the way from local to state to national, like just getting more people to understand and think about multifamily first.
I totally agree. I'm so appreciative of this podcast and what y'all are trying to accomplish. I think we need more avenues on telling our story and how each one, because I don't know anybody that grew up going, man, I want to work in the apartment
There
industry.
are a few people because they like
family.
Their family, yeah.
Absolutely.
Like Jackie Cagle, shout out. She's been on her,
Stephanie Park.
Yeah, absolutely. There are so many, but that's a smaller percentage than the majority, and on both owner and supplier side. I was telling someone the other day, my mom worked for a company for 35 years, and she did not want me. I could have gone straight into her that, it was a big national insurance company, did not want me to do that when I graduated. She's like, no, go away, go find something else.
Find something else.
Before you come back here, it just depends on the person and their family, and how can they cohabitate, or how they can work within, their own circle of families. Appreciate you sharing your story on that. How did did being because I worked for Brinker Chili's, I was a waiter and bartender for most of put myself through college that way. Okay, so since I spent that time in the restaurant business, how can someone that might be looking to transition into a different career or are not quite sure about going to college or just getting out of college, what kind of advice would you give them?
So as far as the restaurant industry goes, I feel like if you wait tables or you bartend or anything like service industry related, I mean, at the end of the day, like you're selling, even if you don't realize you are. Most people go, "What's a service? It's customer service," which carries you on because you have to be nice to everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you do not want to be nice, and even if someone's being very unfriendly to you.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're hoping to get, 17, 20, 25% of whatever it is that tab at the end of the night is. So you're crazy if you're saying that you'd rather sell a sirloin than a filet. Like you want 20%.
Yeah.
You have no idea how those simple, I call it sales one. It's almost like sales 101.
Yeah,
like sales 101. Those seem simple, but I mean, I feel like working in the restaurant industry was much harder.
Oh, absolutely.
Much harder.
Oh, 100%. I mean, and the hours were not as good.
The hours, the days.
Yeah, and the holiday factor of, of our industry, that family comes first, that people do take vacations.
It's pretty awesome.
It's pretty awesome. And if you are sick, they don't want you in the office getting everybody else sick. Unlike in the service industry, if you don't got somebody to cover your shift, whoa,
you might be fired.
Yeah, correct.
Straight up.
Yeah, absolutely. So those things, daytime hours, no weekends, for some positions in some companies, there's no weekends, but we definitely believe in holidays and taking that time off with our families. So that in itself, I feel is huge. Yeah. That if more people in the service industry understood that, hospitality industry understood how our hours are so much better, that we having a whole shipload of people jump over.
And I know for supply, I can't really speak about the on-site because I've never spent any time. I know there's several people in our industry that have been on both sides, which I've always thought it funny is each side refers to the other side as the dark side.
It is the bright side.
It's the bright, both are the bright side.
Yeah.
But if you can work 40 hours a week in a restaurant, and you can be dedicated to that craft, you can make way more money being a supplier partner in this industry.
Or even
being motivated.
Yeah, or even on the management owner side as well. Both. I do know people who have been who are still on the owner management side, that it definitely is beneficial. Casey Kuhn, shout out Casey Kuhn. She got recruited. She was a bartender and she got recruited by a regional that got her to come over to be a leasing person and work, daytime hours and real people were, adult clothing, or I can't remember her term, but it was really cute. And it just, 10, 12 years later, she's definitely grown in her career, and the hours are better. The money's better, everything, for her and her family.
I do find the opportunity for advancement in this industry is something that you truly have control over yourself.
Absolutely.
Like there's no seniority. I mean, I realize that for certain things you have to have been here a certain amount of time, but
if you're eager to learn,
if you want to put in the time and you want to learn it, like you can move up.
100%.
There is no, hey, 5 years from now you can do this, or you've got to be like, this is an industry where you truly can get out of what you put into.
100%.
And it's awesome.
Yes, I agree. Well, I really appreciate you visiting with me today, Joshua. Tell folks how they can connect with you if they want to learn more about, what you do or multifamily.
So the easiest way to get a hold of me is by emailing me. It's J Nichols. That's the first letter of my first name and my last name at contractorsinc.com.
Okay. And I'll put the link in the bio.
I appreciate you doing that.
Yep.
Also on LinkedIn. You can find me on Facebook as well.
The Facebook as well.
If you look me up on Instagram, it's under Big Easy.
Woo-hoo!
So you'd have to type that in.
Yay.
But I'm always here to help anyone in any way I can, or give feedback, or come up with ideas of anybody that wants to move up or learn more about this industry.
Awesome. And connect. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, I really appreciate your time and I appreciate your sharing your story. And folks, if this episode, if Joshua's advice, his story resonated with you, or you know somebody that should hear his story, please share it. Maybe tag him in the comments. But we definitely want more people to understand there's so much room to grow in our industry. That's why we started this podcast. So
thank you so much.
Yes,
for having
thank
me
you.
on.
I appreciate you all. And I appreciate everyone listening. And until next week, remember, there is so much room to grow in multifamily, and sharing is caring. Bye, y'all.
Bye.